Welcome back to the Red Bull Ring for Race 2, Round 3 of the World Super Touring Championship. Once again, Adrian Michael Rees in the box alongside Christian Shepherd. Good afternoon once more.
Good afternoon.
Now for a quick debrief with Anthony Ingram, Michael Swinnerton back on his perch on the pit wall. Can you hear us? Sound check 1, 2.
Yep, I've got you again.
Don't know when you need to say that we did the sound check well before we started broadcasting, but let's see what happens. Once again, reverse grid, Thompson on pole. We're expecting the rear-wheel drive of Webber in fifth to do another spectacular start, and
Oh, he got blocked. He had no way of doing
Lammers,
so.
and then the other rear-wheel drive car of Fisichella set to slice the two in front. No, okay, Nicky Lauda curve. Thompson still leads from pole. Wirtz having slightly capitulated, whether it was for gamesmanship or brinksmanship, still in second place as the train surges towards Remus and the braking area. Bit of impact earlier on there. I think we saw Palou take a sudden surprise left. Might have been hit there. Back of the car doesn't show it though.
This will be Thompson's great chance now of potentially garnering a good points haul, if not the win here, considering given pole. Webber is up to fourth though.
Yeah, Honda should maintain their constructors' advantage coming into this event. I've been promising to mention that throughout race 1, that they were leading the constructors' championship, even though they've not really had a win to their name this season. Still early days yet.
Assistant drivers, and unlike a few of the teams that we've seen at the moment, they tend to have to at least 2 cars well within the top 10, at least some capacity. Struggled a little bit in the previous race.
They've got a nose for picking rookies then, because Lammers has been very useful in that points haul, and as you can see, 4th place right now, even if it is a reverse grid, is not falling back into the depths of the pack. On board, facing Webber.
Very new Honda as well, so they're still ironing out the kinks, it would seem, but they don't really have the top speed, and we have seen they're a little bit sketchy on their brakes at times as well.
Well, we'll soon see that now with Webber, if that encroaches any closer towards the Honda by the time it gets to the hairpin. A little bit, not so much, but there's the other BMW behind Suarez in ninth.
Up the inside of Palou goes Aiello. Looked like a bit of a shunt there.
Good spot on that, I missed that. Side by side towards Schlossgold.
Aiello's got this. The Ford isn't going to be able to do very much into the inside there unless he pulls out of the move. Which he
almost doesn't.
Yeah.
Bit of a replication of what we saw in race 1 too.
It must be a setup issue. Cars must get very loose on the inside there, and that's why they pull out. He had the move done. Like there wasn't anything in terms of worrying about what you call it, a collision with Palou. The Camish is back in 10th place under the watchful eye of Aiello.
Considering how much of a gap there was between race 1 and race 2, Swinney, what are the brakes, the condition of the brakes between the end of race 1 and what everyone expects to start on when they get to the lights for race 2?
Oh, they weren't terrible. We did, well, they could have been worse, I'll put it that much.
Not everyone is in the same boat though, different manufacturers, especially with Renault's supply as well, compared to privateers such as the Master Run Swinnerton team, Swintech Motorsports. All on the same manufacturer of tyre. And there's Lammers down the inside of Fisichella. But Webber took advantage of that.
Yep, that's a Webber pass for 4th place. Lammers kind of showing his rookie naivete there, unfortunately.
And not necessarily for the orange box on the back of the bumper. Still a good job nonetheless in 5th.
Suarez now stuck in the traffic at this moment in time. Camish down to 11th place. Was Butcher eyeing him up.
Butcher of it, man. Two manufacturer efforts behind the privateer car once again. They're in the mid-pack. On board. Crown Athlete, not really local, shall we say. Toyota selling different types of car around these parts. Very much a Japanese brand. The rumour is the Corolla would need to be at least front or rear wheel drive to be allowed to take part. Bit of a tussle for 4th, 5th and 6th through Nicky Lauda curve.
Lama's looking to take back that 4th place.
That was a touch of wheels there, no doubt. Aiello looks set to capitalise right up the back bumper of Webber. Side by side with Lammers, who forces him out wide.
A bit of a jump there for Lammers. That's not going to do his back any favours.
Not to do his
Suarez
suspension
up
any
to
favours.
7th place.
Here we go.
It's becoming a very decent showing for the VWs at this track. I wanted to find out the car's foibles. We'll have to see in future races.
That and the previous season at this track might have just helped as well. Palou in 8th, Schneider 9th, back to Wirtz then for 2nd, as Thompson still leads.
He's been reeled in by Wirtz, actually, Thompson. Thompson did pull out at first, but can't help but think that Wirtz is going to start looking at this as his first win in a long time.
So here's a little tidbit I'll let you guys in on. Volkswagen used the A1 ring as their testing track.
Of course.
Certainly see that in the results, the current times they're producing at the moment on track. Looking further down, Lammers is now back to 5th, no longer challenging Webber as of yet.
When we do look at the calendar for this championship, there are certain similarities to other circuits, even if this track higher in altitude, shall we say, than the others. Thompson still leads. We're seeing Schneider and Gasho in 9th and 10th. Camish just out a shot in 11th.
Very braking there from Gasho. Nearly pulled it off around the outside.
It looked like a defensive move from Schneider, but I think the defence was, please do not hit me when your brakes are later than mine. But here we go again. Here comes the echo.
Yeah, they don't like the inside of that corner. Look how much they slow down.
Still a decent train. No noticeable split apart from the top two. And this race extended by another lap. Something I should have noticed sooner. Obviously it was lap 15 from the start of the race, not any reason to extend it other than perhaps the first race was too short.
Got Palou holding up Schneider. At this moment in time, Schneider, although being attacked by the McGann, so has an incentive to try and get past.
And that's the first third.
I thought I was going to say, I thought for a second, I thought Lammers had got past Webber again, but as it turns out it's Webber and Fisichella.
It was Webber and Lammers having a good battle earlier, but now it's on for the rear-wheel drive fraternity in the field. And
he
that's the
told
sort
him
of
to
rivalry
move.
we expected to see. Get on with it.
That's not an overtake, that's move over, or at the very least go faster. That's a naughty thing to do, Webber.
And somehow, the front, you'd think the sort of nostrils, shall we say, of the BMW should be a bit more put out of joint by that love tap, shall we say. on the
the
back of
cars are
that
a bit more
Alpha.
robust. They're a bit more robust than I think we give them credit for.
Maybe it wasn't that much of a hit, it just looked more dramatic than we gave off.
The changes at the front, I think. Ultimately, at the moment, ILO keeps having the occasional pop and then just sort of stopping.
And there's Suarez still being very defensive against Palou and Schneider. And we've
Schneider
also got the
desperate.
other Renault as well of Gasho.
Ooh. Casho nearly went there. Oh, Camish is about to lose out to Butcher here at this moment. Although that Ford's got some pace with Ingram suddenly coming out of nowhere. Will take Butcher, will he then immediately take Camish?
On board, Ingram.
Yeah.
Looking promising for a good points haul in race 2 down the inside of Camish. Looking good for the privateer championship as well. Ingram with the look left to see if he was clear from Camish. Through the hairpin, neat and tidy, and in fairness, a bit of a gap to Camish as well, as Butcher closes in on the 3M Ford. Gasho now ahead of Schneider.
Yeah, Gasho's now ahead of Schneider. Schneider in 10th place.
The behaviour of the Aiello Renault, we just saw how good it could look, even though we missed it. From Gasho's perspective, Palou ahead now.
Palou can't be too pleased now that the very fast McGann has gotten past the BMW.
They're not going to be too pleased that Volkswagen are going to go ahead of them. Gasho down the inside of Palou.
Oh, just a little too tight. We'll do it here for turn 1, we wonder. Oh, I think it's too far back at this rate.
Now we're at the second half of the race. Thompson still with the fastest lap. Everyone through Nicky Lauda curve, still line astern. Some decent battles in between so far.
Yeah, Schneider's
Ingram
about to go
11th.
give the...
And Ingram closing in on 10th, to be fair, but here's Butcher and Camish now side by side. We kind of called it earlier. We're expecting Wittmann to do a lot better, though. It's not been the best weekends for the defending champion. Points, yes, but not enough points as Butcher decides to...
Butch had nowhere to go. Unfortunately, the way that corner goes, and Rydell is going to take full advantage of that.
Not only that, he's going to take advantage of the pace that Butcher didn't have at the exit of Remus. As the sun starts to fall. You were here last time round, Swinny. How's that sunlight do for you when you're racing?
I didn't really notice it personally. I think we raced at a different time of the day, though. I don't recall. One thing I will say about Wittmann and her disappointing race results so far this season, they did change out her race engineer. I'm not entirely sure it's working just yet.
Yeah,
It can't be, considering Fisichella helped to 3rd place.
I wonder if that would be set to change then, if you want your champion to be given the best facilities, so to speak. Butcher now 13th and closing in on Camish again. Gasho 9th. But
Thompson doesn't have much of a lead here. He seems to be slowing down, slowing the pack right up.
And Fisichella looking set to take advantage of it as well.
Wondering if Thompson's drove the tyres off. Seems to be struggling now.
Yeah, the typical tyre behaviour that we saw at Catalonia in the previous season hasn't been noticeable as much in race 1, nor with about 6 laps to go of this one on board Webber.
Obviously given a reprieve now as Wirtz has dropped off slightly into the clutches of Fisichella.
And positions 2 to 5th now that close to each other in the same shot. Perhaps Aiello in 6th could take advantage of this as well with 6 to go.
Suarez has actually held on to 7th quite happily at this moment in time. I thought, to be honest, he would have turned out a bit like Wirtz in the first race, but doesn't seem to be the case.
Thompson not got the sort of power that the Volkswagen had on the run up to Remus there. Breaking out for Schlossgold. What are we expecting to see? I was expecting to see something a bit more action-packed, but it's still early days.
I don't think he wants to make a move. He's a champion, remember. He'll be biding his time. He knows that Honda is starting to suffer a little bit now. Palou down to 9th as well now.
Palou was 8th.
Yeah, down to 9th. Aiello's, or Gachot, was one of the other. I've forgotten which one, unfortunately. Has managed to displace in there. Whitman's down to 15th place.
Yeah, Rydell was there or thereabouts. Webber and Fisichella, their tussle start to encroach more promising podium finishes.
It is just line astern from first all the way down. Mama's had a bit of an interesting look at the inside there.
Been a very good run for the rookie. 3rd at the start through the reverse grid. Has not dwindled. Yes, there's been a drop, but this is still a very good performance from the rookie. Aiello still struggling to gain on the Honda, as is pretty much everyone. Suarez and Gachot there have been in that, roughly in that position. Palou might have fallen back behind these two within the last couple of laps, but there's Schneider as well, scraping into the top 10.
Foggy.
No, we didn't expect there to be rain. Now, given we do have access to Swintech Motorsports radar, Swinny, what's the weather like, or what's the weather going to be like in the last few laps?
Ominous, but not threatening.
Even if it does rain, then that's just more of a psychological issue for the drivers rather than a grip issue.
It's more the visibility. That is absolutely a very foggy view there.
So the lack of visibility through a setting sun, we've now got cloud cover, we've got fog, lack of visibility of a different kind, and that might have explained why Rydell couldn't get the job done on Camish, who were still side by side on the way up to Remus, up that hill.
Be a great scalp for Rydell if he can get Camish.
Speaking of scalps, what's Butcher gonna do? No, too far back. And the tap might have just happened there. We didn't hear it. We didn't really see it.
The fog is now cleared up. Came in. It's got away as fast as it came in.
And the sun is back. Rydell. Butcher braking
Wirtz
just as
ahead
well
of Thompson. Where did that happen?
We'll have to see that on the replay then. It's the braking area for Remus. It was threatening to happen. Let's face it. The Honda was relatively slow in the last couple of laps, but the braking area for Schlossgold Wirtz down the inside. A very happy Volkswagen outfit for the time being. 3.5 to go.
Thompson fight back.
Let's hope so, but that being said, as long as no one else goes faster, now that the tyres are starting to fade, the rear wheel wobble on, maybe no one's going to break the Thompson fast lap for race 2. So we'll still keep those specific points. Happy days all round, but here we go.
Well, this got away though. There's still a chance for Thompson to nip this back.
There was enough grip there through the exit of Wirth. But rear wheel wobble on, is it going to happen through Red Bull Mobile turn? Not necessarily so.
Right on the back of Wirtz here.
And a train of 4 different manufacturers. Lama's the rookie in 5th, putting on a very good defensive show for the team. Nobody's behind him.
Here's the
It's just
opportunity
air
now
between
for,
him and Ayalo now.
Is there the opportunity now for Thompson to try and garner that position back? Gonna make a
Too
move
far back
though.
this time, but I think this is enough evidence that might just be it for the race. But obviously the battle is still on. 2.5 to go. The roof cam of Fiskala's Alpha. Honda with the grip through
sideways.
the infield.
A little wobbly, but nothing terrible.
Same for everyone else by the looks of it.
Aiello's dropped off.
Certainly has, and into the
Actually,
clutches
going
of
into the
Suarez
clutches, yeah.
and his teammate Gasho. Schneider up to 9th, Palou down to 10th. Ingram just in shot there, but map's not enough to get into the top 10. Another quiet one for you, Swinny, or for him?
Well, now it is, yeah, after the initial scuffles with a couple of other people there.
But this battle is still definitely on, even if I think the performance of that Volkswagen is going to keep Wirtz ahead of Thompson. It would have to take something really silly to happen now, I think, for Thompson to get the lead again.
I don't think it's silly. I think just a slight mistake possibly from Wirtz, or even a good run at Wirtz from Thompson's point of view here. Oh,
But there's a
Thompson
bump
getting
from
bit of a
Fisichella.
bump.
That can be a factor.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was thinking there, though, Fisichella.
Oops, I think is what he's thinking.
But not using hand gestures just yet. Both hands on the wheel.
Oh, I thought it was
There's Thompson again, so had there been a few more turns on this track, sort of more fast-flowing, grippy turns, not that it can't be helped, I mean, we're still on a truncated version of the old Österreich ring, which is why this track is still limited to that sort of outline.
Oh, Fisichella making a move.
But here we go down the inside. I think this is all for third now. The power down from the Alpha.
On the BMW there as well to potentially make a move as well on Thompson, or even on both at this point.
If you think about it, Honda will still look pretty good for them. Oh no!
Oh, that was very close to
I was
completely
expecting that
losing
to
it.
happen a lot later in the lap. As Thompson now and Lammers, 4th and 5th, one of each ahead of the, so to speak, big manufacturer teams in the World Super Touring
This is
Championship.
Webber looking at the inside for second
Webber down the
place.
inside.
Oh, that's a bit of track extension there from Fisichella. That's going to get some finger wagging from the stewards.
If anything still happened, well, it did happen, just to the wrong person. In fairness, Thompson really hung out to
that's
dry.
placed.
Did enough, as much as he could, as Webber now second.
Closed the
What a
door like
battle
an
in the final
angry
lap.
X there. Honestly, the way he was exit. Is that Thompson now going to have another sniff? He's trying to get back on the podium. Ooh, that's a
Both
very...
of those Hondas with a wobble on.
Didn't
No
slow
doubt
him
the
down
same
much
for
though,
the
does it?
Volkswagen. But there's enough of a gap now for Nico Wirtz to pretty much say, guess who's back? Because it was very good through season 2, season 3, not so
Feel like
good
we are
with a new
looking at the
car.
wrong VW here.
Not so much yet. I mean, we'll have to see what happens in the final turn.
There
As
we
Nico
go.
Wirtz back at the top of the pack for a change. Still work needs to win perhaps, but we'll see what happens at the next venue. Lama's very well driven across the line of 5th, but this battle didn't really come to any difference, but good nonetheless. There's your 9th place finisher in Gasho Palou in 10th. Ingram, very good, and the best of the privateers in race 2. And then more spread eagle further back through privateers and what looks to be a very poor finish for Toyota and a very poor finish for the other rookie in the field, Salo. And not the best of weekends for Ford. That being said, off the back of them being last in the Manufacturers' Championship still, but very good for Volkswagen nonetheless. And once again, I'd say we kind of assumed. I mean, I thought it was a good race one. You thought it was a bit more stagnant than that. But
I
this
think
one,
there was just a bit more action in the final few laps, thankfully, for
absolutely.
this one. Yeah.
And we'll bring you up to speed on the championship points when we reach to round 4. For the time being, this is Adrian Michael Rees on behalf of Christian Shepard and Michael Swinnerton. Bye for now. Good racing, everyone.